This is DeckLocked. I start with no gear, no abilities, and no talents. Every level, a custom map I built draws a card, unlocking one thing at random and tracking the entire run. The deck decides how this character progresses. Let's begin. Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today's goal is to complete Bloodmyst Isle and to prepare for dungeons. I've made some small changes to the rules based on your feedback in the comments. I'll cover this once we get into the app. Thank you all so much for your feedback on the first episode. I really appreciate it, and we can definitely add this into the challenge going forward. Apparently there is a private server that has a similar idea of using cards for one of its seasons. However, I'm a good boy, and I haven't played that server. I got the idea from watching an old school RuneScape video that had a similar idea to the one we're using. Anyways, enough yapping, and let's get into it. It is now time for our adventure into Bloodmyst Isle. I was asked to warn our allies about the bad peoples, and I got to ride a goddamn elephant. How cool is that? This was a time quest, so I had 15 minutes to complete it. It's a good job I had the fastest elephant on Kalimdor. I was asked to kill some Ravagers that had managed to escape when the ship crash landed. Is this like the Draenei's pet dogs or something? My current strategy while fighting mobs was to save mana, as I had no drinks or food on me. So I'd use Lightning Shield on cooldown, as it's very effective damage per mana, and then just auto them to death and heal up afterwards. This way my mana roughly evened out. I collected some juicy looking pears and ran to a copper node I seen on the minimap, and a very kind night elf let me take a hit to level up, even though they got there first. So it was their dibs. I handed in the 2 quests I completed and received some nice upgrades. Firstly, a green chest piece which had 1 stamina and 1 agility. Secondly, a green mace that brought the DPS in my weapon from 4.5 to 5.8, which was a big jump in damage. It also had 1 stamina and it was a fast weapon. I prefer fast weapons while leveling, as it doesn't feel as bad when you miss. Nothing worse than missing a 3.6 speed attack. If I could get Rockbiter weapon to go with this, it would be so good. There was a captured princess stuck in a cage at the Furball camp, and if I freed her, she'd give me an even better one-handed mace. We are swimming in weapons. To free her, I'd have to kill the Furball until their chieftain appeared. And then put him 6 feet under. Okay, we are back in the brand new updated card app. So what have we added? After reading through all the comments on the last video, thank you all very much for leaving comments, by the way, I really appreciate your feedback and your help. There was quite a lot of suggestions for bags. So I think bags make sense, so I've removed them off my character for now. I only have my main bag, and I have added all 4 bag slots to be unlocked. So I think that's quite a good addition, so thank you guys for that. And the other addition was the mounts. So you can see here I've added the mount, the epic mount, the flying mount, and the epic flying mount, which is going to be just another form of progress and another option. So, you know, it gives us some extra kind of choices along the way, which is always good. There is one other thing I would like to go over. So there was a couple of comments on the video which was saying that every 10 or 20 levels you should be able to do like a big pull, or I'd be able to redraw it, or I'd be able to, you know, unlock something extra special. And I agree. I like the idea that like every 10 levels is like this kind of extra milestone that gives us a little bit more opportunity. What I was thinking, and what I'm going to do this episode, and you can let me know in the comments down below what you think of this new rule, is every 10 levels I'm going to give myself the ability to re-roll the card draw once. And this is only going to be on that actual level. It's not one that I can save for later. I have to use it at that level. So for example, if I got level 10, I would be able to draw 3 cards, and if I didn't like them, I could shuffle and draw a different 3 cards, but I can only do that once. And that's going to be every 10 levels. So what I was thinking is, as I've level 13, I've already missed one. I might as well do that now, and then the next one will be level 20, level 30, so on. So it just gives us that extra little bit of variety and choice, which could come in very useful. You know, and it spices things up a little bit. That's always good. So without any further ado, let's do that now. So let's give the deck a bit of a shuffle. And let's draw 3 cards. So we have 1 opportunity to re-roll this. Oh, okay. Purge, Rockbiter, and Feet Slot. This is actually a really good draft. We have Purge, which is going to give us the ability to get rid of buffs on an enemy, which is always nice, especially against casters that have shields. Rockbiter is just amazing. I was literally just talking about being able to unlock that, especially with a fast weapon. It's just going to give us that extra bit of damage. And the feet slot is always good. Gear slot, you know, you can add on the movement speed enchants later down the road, so that would be a good unlock. I'm not going to redraw the cards, and I think in terms of the rule of what makes logical sense is if I don't redraw, I just lose the redraw anyways. Otherwise, I'll just end up saving it for other times, and that doesn't seem very fair. So our level 10 reroll is gone, and we have gotten ourselves a Rockbiter, which has now gone straight into Enhance. This is, This is going to be so good. Let's go and learn that straight away. I ran north to Bloodwatch, which is the main town on Bloodmyst Isle, handed in the Princess Rescue, and I received the Thumper. A mace that slaps and is 6.9, don't do it, DPS, so this is a big upgrade, even on the new green weapon that I got. There was a whole bunch of quests, including one which gave another mace, that was an even bigger upgrade yet again. This is nuts, it feels like every second quest I'm getting a weapon upgrade. The quest to fly to Exoder, so I knocked that out as I wanted to visit the trainer to learn Rockbiter. I trained Rockbiter rank 1 and rank 2, and while I was here I seen there was a healing wave upgrade, so I grabbed that too. I also learned Ancestral Spirit, which is a resurrection spell. This was the only exception to the rules I allowed. I didn't want a group of people to wait 20 minutes for somebody to run back just because I hadn't got the spell. That doesn't really seem fair. I deposited some items in the bank, as every inventory slot is valuable currently, and I gave the quest in, flew back to Bloodwatch, and it was now time to bang out a whole bunch of quests. I mean, look at this map. Is this not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? I was now hitting up to 34 at my new Mason Rockbiter. This was insane. I was hitting like 15s before. I decided to do the Blood Elf killing quest first, as that gave a nice upgraded mace. Plus, they can also drop the irradiated crystals, which I need as well. 2 birds, 1 stone. These Blood Elves hurt though. I killed the 10 Blood Elves needed and headed straight back to claim my new weapon. This was called the Fist of Argus. It had 8.2 DPS, plus the 4 DPS from Rockbiter, giving a total of 12.2 DPS. In the space of 30 minutes of game time, we had gone from a 4.5 DPS weapon to 12.2 DPS, which is an insane upgrade. We basically tripled our weapon's DPS. Afterwards, I grabbed a blood mushroom and I killed a fish for an aquatic stinkhorn. To the east, there was another type of mushroom that I needed, and there was a boss naga that I had to help sleep with the fishes. This naga was huge and I had a glaive. What an Illidan wannabe. I accidentally pulled another mob, so I used my healing racial and I took them both out. He actually dropped the green BOE axe, and that will be more enchanting mats down the road. I used my declaration to say I declare this land mine. Bibs. Bag space really was at a premium now. Just from the quests and totems alone, I was using like 3/4 of my bag. I really needed to unlock a bag slot soon. Next I found the other mushroom I needed close by. This quest alone is going to take up 4 bag slots. I tried to complete the next quest, but this also needs an inventory slot. I was attacked by 2 Ravagers, managed to fight them off, made some room, and then completed it. I needed one more plant to be able to hand in the mushroom quest that was hogging a lot of my bag space, so I made that a priority. On the way over, I spotted a Murloc that started the quest, but of course, it was an item too. I had to delete my health potions to pick this one up. I found the last plant, and deleted my linen to pick that one up. We are down bad for space. Handing these quests in dig me to level 14 and freed up a whole bunch of space in my bags. Thank the Lord baby Jesus. It was that time again. And we are once again back in our card app. So level 14 doesn't really unlock anything new. However, there is a few new ranks for abilities we've already unlocked, such as Earthshock rank 3 and Lightning Bolt rank 3. So I'll have to go and train those afterwards. In terms of what would we like to unlock, I think the Flame Shot could be a pretty good one because it does damage over time and it's quite mana efficient. Purge is also another good one to kind of remove the buffs, kind of similar to like we were talking about before. And the other one will be a bag slot or profession 2 or even a good gear slot. So now that we have Rockbiter, there's not like any crazy upgrade currently. So let's see what we get. Let's give the deck a little bit of a shuffle. And 3, 2, 1. My god, okay, that's actually crazy. Literally all 3 things that I said would be good. Bag slot 2, purge, and profession 2. Oh, this is hard, man. Bag slot would be nice because it's just a bit of a shit show at the moment trying to have everything in my bags. Especially when I accept a lot of quests that have unused items. It tends to really fill it up quick. Purge, we already talked about, is nice, and profession 2 means I would at least be able to start using up some of my mining ingredients. Oh, this is hard. I think I'm going to go with profession 2. The bag slot will be really nice, but I'm just going to have to, like, I can survive without this. Profession 2 is just going to let me use up the stuff in my bank, which means I can start putting more greens in there for when we do swap to enchanting. Or do I get enchanting now and dual crafting later? We are getting profession 2 though. Let's unlock that. Okay, so we now have both professions unlocked. Beautiful stuff. I decided to go with enchanting so I could start disenchanting all the green items that I got while leveling. I will have less gold from vendoring items this way, but as I'm not planning on using the auction house, I don't think that'll be a big deal. Especially as I have less abilities to unlock than normal, and while I was here, I also trained Lightning Bolt rank 3 and Earthshock rank 3. It was time to get back to questing in Bloodmyst Isle. We were asked to find the missing survey team, and I'll be honest, they're not looking too good. The data they collected was missing from their bags, so I had to kill Nagas until I found it. It took me quite a lot of kills, but I finally got the survey data. While killing treants for their bark, I finally finished collecting the irradiated crystals that can drop from any mob in the zone. I collected the rest of the bark, and then went to kill a Felguard who was trying to convince the local satyr to attack the Draenei. This gave me an item that started a quest, which required me to just murder a whole bunch of the local satyrs. That's one way of sorting that problem out. While killing these, I grabbed the glyph from a monument and afterwards finished off the last few satyrs that I needed. While handing these quests in, I dinked to level 15. Handing in the crystal quests gave me these pretty sweet consumables that when used increased my attack power by 10 for 30 minutes. This is also a repeatable quest, so I can keep this rolling hopefully for a near permanent buff here. Every little bit helps. We are back at our card app, and there is something interesting that I forgot to mention last time. When I was looking through abilities I hadn't learned, I hadn't accounted for the fact that when you complete the Fire Totem quest, you learn the ability Searing Totem as a reward. I obviously haven't used this, as I haven't unlocked it in the card game, but that would be a potential unlock that would be really nice. If I could get that, or Flame Shock, I think they would be my two prios right now. Or a bag slot, or potentially like a feet or a hand slot for gear would also be quite nice. So let's see what we get. Okay, bag slot 1, 3, and Strength of the Earth. The bag slots are really nice. The Strength of the Earth totem is decent when you're in groups, but like for now, it doesn't seem like it'll be worth the mana for the kind of strength that it'll give me. So I think let's choose the unlock bag slot 1, and we can finally get a bit more bag space. I quickly nip back to the bank to grab my small green pouch, which is a 6-slot bag to help alleviate my inventory woes. It was time to go back to killing Blood Elf spies again, until one of them dropped some information. While killing Blood Elves, I looked at what abilities I unlocked next level, and it is huge. The abilities, that is. I get a new rank Lightning Shield, which does over double the damage the current one does, and I get a new rank Rockbiter, which is a 50% increase over the old one. I obtained the Missive, and I mined 2 copper nodes, which gave me a gem each. That is what I am talking about. Speaking of mining, next up I mined a crystal for a quest. Now, I need your guys' help and feedback on this. A bunch of comments in the last video mentioned about drawing a card when completing a dungeon. The one thing that pops into my mind with this is I'll end up drawing a lot of cards and unlocking pretty much everything, which I think kind of defeats the purpose of the challenge. But I do like the concept of completing dungeons unlocking something, so I would like to propose an alternative. Originally, I had planned on this character being self-found and having to obtain everything myself. What if, instead of this, we start with all materials for both mining, such as ores, stones, gems, and enchanting, such as dust, shards, so on. These will all start locked, and then we have 2 options here. Either each time I complete a dungeon, I pull a card for the materials, and whatever material is pulled is now unlocked, and can be bought and sold on the auction house. Or the other option is instead of every time I complete a dungeon, each time I complete a dungeon for the first time. So only the first time I complete Dead Mines, for example, will unlock a material. What is your opinions on this? Or have you any other alternative suggestions for how we can incorporate dungeons into the unlocking system? I gathered up all the vines needed from the constrictors, and then I had to kill a bunch of elder brown bears, and these things fucked me up multiple times. They are really tanky and they hit so goddamn hard. And also, never dropped their damn bear flanks. I had to kill a shed load of these to complete the quest, and they were horrible to fight. I had to heal on pretty much every single one or I died. In fact, they were so annoying that I ran all the way back to Bloodwatch just to buy some milk to make it easier. While here, I noticed that my mining was capped, so I trained it up to 150 max at the dwarf. He also taught me how to smelt tin, bronze and silver, which will come in very handy very soon. While at Bloodwatch, I was given a quest to kill some moths, so I added those to the to kill list. After massacring about half of the zone's population, and then finished off the moths, which was nice and easy compared to the bears. I went back to deliver these at Bloodwatch and I hit level 16. We were closing in on the level required for Dead Mines, and this was very exciting. Level 16 was also a massive level for unlocks. Here we are again. Okay, the only thing that's going to be different than the last draw is I can now get Cure Poison, which would be nice. Of course, that's still going along with the Searing Totem and the Flame Shock. And actually a belt slot would be nice for that belt we just got. It's got 6 attack power, so that'd be a decent little upgrade. Anyway, let's see what we get. Boom. Interesting. Okay, so we got Stoneclaw Totem, which can be handy. because that can be used to taunt creatures while you mine or escape. So that could definitely come in useful. Then we have shoulder slot, which we've literally, I'm pretty sure, just unlocked at this level. It's still a little early for shoulders. I mean, you can kind of get those like white or grey ones. And then the ring slot, kind of similar for that as well, especially now that I'm not going dual crafting, I won't have access to early game rings. Now the question is, so for me at the moment, it's currently between Stoneclaw and Shoulder. The ring I'm not too bothered with. I feel like Stoneclaw is better now, but potentially in the long run, the Shoulder is going to be a nice unlock. You know what we're going to do? We'll do Stoneclaw. There we go. We now have, I don't know, what's it, Elemental? Yeah, we now have Stoneclaw unlocked, which can definitely come in handy for if we are aggroing mobs or want to escape, or we just want to nick a quest item and like it. I hurried back excitedly to Exodar to learn my new ranks of Lightning Shield and Cockbiter, along with Stoneclaw Totem. My kills should be so much faster now. I headed up to the northern coast and I found a gnome living in a turtle skeleton. It was kinda cozy, I'm not gonna lie. I kinda want one. I collected his equipment that was stolen by the local murlocs, and then I had to kill a whole bunch of murlocs. What's new, eh? To collect some idols and knives. My damage was so much better with the new Lightning Shield and Cockbiter upgrade. While fighting the murlocs, I just happened to randomly stumble across DeckLocked, who is a big bad bear I needed to kill for a quest as well. I finished collecting the rest of the murloc artifacts and went back to my little gnomie to hand in the quests. He gave me a pirate's treasure map as a reward, and that starts another quest. I wonder what epic loot we will get from this. On the way to the map, there were some voidwalkers that I had to take out, and besides these was the very first tin vein that I found. It's really nice finding the next tier of resources. This will be used to level dual crafting in the future. I cleaned up the voidwalkers and I ran south down the coast towards the treasure map's location. It turns out it is a journal, but the problem is it looks like it has been written by a drunk 5-year-old. So we have to bring it to Pathos to get it translated. And it turns out it's mainly about some Clementine fellow and his drunken escapades, but there is a mention of buried loot. We handed in the DeckLocked quest here and we hit level 17 and got a very nice green shield upgrade, and this gave us some strength. Here we are again. So one thing I forgot to mention in the last one is that the talents are now unlocked from level 15, and I think I have 7 talent points saved up now, so a talent unlock would actually be really nice as well. It would allow me to start getting down towards dual wield in the enhancement tree, which is the way I think I want to go. So 5 talent points is nice. We kind of have the searing totem from earlier, and flame shock are probably the biggest ones. So let's see what we get. A little shuffle, and ooh, interesting. So we got a glove slot, which is always nice. A waist slot would actually be good because we have that belt that gives us 6 attack power, so that'd be a nice little boost. We have 5 talent points, which the first row of enhancements kind of crap, but then it allows us to get flurry on the next row, which is really good. Or sorry, not flurry, the 5% crit. And then cure poison's nice, but you know what, for now I think we're okay. So I think it's between the glove slot and talent points, and I think for now we're going to go for the talent points. There we go, we're up to level 18 and let's go and spend them in game. So we have 2 options. I'm going to stick to enhancement for now. Restoration I'll swap to at 70 or potentially later down the road. And elemental, not too keen on trying. I don't really like the idea of doing a caster that has no anti-pushback and no like kiting or slow. It just seems like it'd be kind of annoying. The options are Ancestral Knowledge, which will give us 5% extra mana, or Shield Specialization that will give us an extra 5% chance to block and an extra 25% amount blocked. I think for now, because the max mana I don't think is going to matter that much, although I do plan on using a 2-hander like 90% of the time. So I'll tell you what, we're going to do maximum mana. Don't think it's great, but let's see, right, we're 582. Oh, a whole 6 mana a level, this is huge. So 605. So I know it's not very good, but I don't really plan on ever using a shield once I get a 2-hander unlocked. And you can see on the next row we get into some really good stuff. So that we're not too worried about. Thundering Strikes is sick. That's 5% crit with weapons. So that is huge. And that eventually leads on to Flurry, which is a huge part of enhancement. Or we get the quick Ghost Wolf cast or extra damage from lightning shields. So that's really good. For now though, we'll have to get back to questing. I collected the buried loot and I gave a cool 8-slot green bag. Oh, goddamn, 25 silver, yes please. A token for my love to remember me by. 3 intellect offhand and an 8-slot bag, that's green, that's cool. So can I just swap the bags? Nice, okay, an extra 2 slots, let's go. I had to kill a bunch of Blood Elf mages for some medical supplies, and these guys slap. They hit hundreds with Fireball, and I have 380 HP. 4 Fireballs, and I'm dead. There was also some blood elfception going on, as there was some blood elves within the blood elves. I found the corpse of Galleon, the gentleman who went missing, and his wife asked us to search for him. And apparently the blood elves had nicked his amulet, so we had to go kill some of those thieving blood elf bastards to get the necklace back. Once we had retrieved it, it was time to roleplay pesticide again and kill even more plants. I discovered a scout who I thought was just having a nap, but it turns out that they were badly injured. Oops, my bad. She wanted us to kill some ravagers and void critters, and I wanted to complete a whole bunch of quests at once to get that big dopamine hand-in hit. So I put down a couple of corrupted water elementals, and then went to kill the biggest ass spooters I've ever seen. One of them dropped a sweet pair of strength/stam green gloves, and the very next spooter dropped some 5 stamina boots. I freed our space goat friends from the webs. Space Frodo, is that you? As I was finishing up killing the spooters, they also dropped a green one-handed mace that was a very slight upgrade for me. And the last spooter also dropped a green leather chest with 5 stam and 3 spirit, which was a big upgrade for the chest slot. These spooters drop so many greens, they must be killing lots of geared adventurers. Be safe out there, folks. There's some bad spooters around. Handing in the quest also gave me a green cape with +3 stamina, and it looks really cool. We've gotten some huge stamina upgrades in the last few minutes. I cleared my way up through the spider layer towards the boss spooter called Zarek. I really wish I had cure poison right now. This poison drains my mana and health, and it restores it to the spooters, so it's quite AIDS. I front-loaded a whole load of lightning spells and I took them down without any trouble. I then decided to Hearthstone out as fuck running all the way back through those 100 spooters. We went back and told the wife, unfortunately, her husband was dead. And this thing me to level 18. Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss. I was given a quest to kill the bastard, Mattis the Cruel, which I will enjoy greatly, as the bastard murdered me earlier when I was AFK on the road. Not cool, man. Afterwards, I was turned into a beautiful blood elf lady and managed to convince the prisoner that I was in fact a blood elf. I'm a natural, what can I say? Man, I make an attractive lady. What? Back again. So we now have our level 18 abilities unlocked. The one new unlock is a Tremor Totem, which could be very useful. It's basically an AoE totem that removes fear in a radius around it. It can be a little buggy when it ticks, sometimes there's a bit of a delay, but it is super useful, especially in a lot of dungeons and a lot of raids. That would be quite nice, but I still think Searing Totem's probably number 1, then Flame Shock, and then like Gloves, Waist, or Feet. I've got some nice gear for those waiting, so let's see what we get. Let's give it a bit of a shuffle. And the draw. Oh my god, this is pretty terrible. First Aid, Ring Slot, or Stone Skin. I mean, I could level First Aid just to get rid of our cloth as we're leveling, because it's kind of just annoying having all that cloth. I feel bad just vendoring it. Ring Slot, we're not going to have a ring anytime soon. Or maybe we will, but I don't think so, unless we get lucky in like the Dead Mines in the future. And Stone Skin's kind of crappy. So this is a pretty bad roll, unfortunately. It's between the ring and First Aid. I think we go First Aid, why not? Let's get it unlocked and we can at least use the cloth on it. Oy, not very good, but you know, onwards and upwards. We nip back to Exodar to train our new abilities, which were Healing Wave rank 4 and Stoneclaw Totem rank 2, which just gives it a little bit more HP, so it lasts a little longer while tanking mobs. I ran to the Weapons Master and I trained 2-handed maces so I could use my new Vindicator Smasher. This thing looks sick. I'm gonna bop some fools with this. I also learned daggers for good measure, as I was there already. I deposited all the professional materials into my bank, grabbed all the linen cloth out, went and learned First Aid from Noose, and I crafted it all into bandages. The servers were a laggy mess at this stage, so it took forever to craft these. I got up to level 41 First Aid here. TBC had just been officially launched, like the pre-patch was over, so it was super busy and super laggy. On the way back to the flight path, there was a level 60 cat wandering around called Niblet. What a beast, level 60 as a cat. Many mice have fallen. There was, however, one problem. My weapon skill for 2-handed maces was 1, so I needed to train that up. I found myself a new best friend, Ian the Irradiated Moonkin, and bashed, or tried to bash him for about 3 minutes to level up a little. I got to level 55 weapon skill, that would do for now. I was curious about the island to the northeast, so I went for a little adventure. There is little green dragon whelps here, and they aren't too bad. The broodlings, however, are aids. They cast a poison bolt at you that stacks poison, and it hits for 27 a tick with 3 stacks. There is some rough times ahead. I was loving this new two-handed mace though, it absolutely schmacks. I collected some green shrooms for the mushroom head, and then merged a bunch of Naga in the sea, which is made way easier with a buff from the captain, which gave me fast swimming and unlimited water breathing. If every water quest was like this, I actually wouldn't mind. I crit a whopping 110 with the mace against the Naga. Sit down, son. We then had to venture to the very depths of the ocean to kill some of the unfortunate cursed voyagers, and to free them from their torment. Edward the Dead, or Deadward as he is known to his friends, then wanted us to kill the leader of these Naga to put a stop to it for once and for all. I cleared up the island in circles until I got to the top, and then I murdered that slippery little snake. Giving the quest in gave me a pretty funky looking shield. I'm now wearing the steering wheel of a boat. It's called fashion, darling, you wouldn't understand. I grabbed a stack of dragon bones for the Night Elf Prince that just happened to be wandering around the isle. Who is this dude? I thought he was Prince from Darmal West for a second, but it turns out they just have similar names. He asked me to put down 10 of the green whelps to help settle the spirits of the area, and handing this in, I hit level 19. The follow-up was to kill the boss dragon, who is a lieutenant of the big bad Deathwing, and the reward for this quest is a chess piece with hit rating, which is nuts. Getting hit rating at this level would be huge. Problem is it's an elite quest requiring 2 people, and I have to find a friend to do it with. And I don't have any friends. Time to pull our level 19 card. So, what do we want? We would like the Searing Totem, Flame Shock, Gloves, Belt, or Feet Slot. And without any further ado, as we've been waiting for these same items for a while, let's see what we get. Ooh, okay. This seems pretty self-explanatory. This ring slot, I swear, has come up about 5 times now. The game is just trying to get me to take this ring slot. But no, I will not. Stone Skin Totem, kind of meh, don't really care about that. And Glove Slot, I think, is going to be the natural winner here, because we actually have some gloves that we can use. So let's choose that. We now have our glove slot unlocked, so let's go back and stick some on. Now that we're back in game, we can equip these 3 stamina, 2 strength gloves, and that gives us our first pair of gloves. Look at those, they look like red oven mitts. Beautiful, we're starting to come together nicely. While going up to prepare to fight the boss dragon, I came across my first silver node. This was extra nice as I get a guaranteed level up from it, and I also get a guaranteed level up from smelting each ore. So 3 skill points for 1 node, which is awesome. I was looking for a group for the dragon as he was an elite, but after a while of searching, I decided to just send it myself and to see how I done. It was quite a tough battle as he hit hard, had a swipe, had a fire breath and fear. But I managed to take him down on my own. This racial is so OP for soloing. Handed the quest in and I got this amazing chest with hit rating. Hit is probably my favourite stat. I hate missing attacks, especially with a 2-hander. I ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. And with that, my adventure to the little island was complete. It was time to head back to the mainland. I headed over to say hello to the satyrs, collected some irradiated crystals, and killed Zevrax, who is the leader of this merry band of satyr. I parkoured my way down to the river, and I collected a water sample. I heartstone back as I'd realised I'd forgotten to hand in the shards for the attack power buff yet again. While here, I handed in the quests, and they realised that the water was contaminated from the core leakage. And they told me, surely you haven't swam in the water, right? Well, of course not. That would be crazy. I found Mattis the Cruel, and I fired my flare gun. The lady that came bashed the shit out of him and knocked him out at 50% HP and kidnapped him. Damn. I started escorting Demolitionist Legoso, I can barely say that word, who is a beast. I died as we pulled 3 mobs, and when I came back he was still alive fighting said 3 elite mobs. Stoneclaw Totem actually came in huge here, allowing it to tank 1 elite while we killed the other. What a genius choosing that card. I must have at least 17 IQ. I tried pulling 1 mob to kill it so we didn't aggro 3 mobs accidentally, but Legoso started doing some roleplay and I got blasted. He then aggroed the other 2 when he came out of the roleplay, and I got murdered, and then he got murdered, failing the escort. I'll have to find a group for this, I think. It's too hard for me to solo. After this ass beating, I decided to go down the hill and take revenge on their non-elite brethren. I played some whack-a-mole with some miniature voidwalkers. Then I whack some Ravagers just to make myself feel a little bit better. He's in, let me hit level 20, which could be a huge level. I also got a nice leg upgrade from the Maddest to Cruel quest. I got to witness Mattis being sentenced to execution, which was quite satisfying, but then he had taunted one too many times, and Vindicator Kuros had enough of his taunts, sprinted forward, and absolutely fucking annihilated him and slash spit on his corpse. Now that is a true PvPer. Why was this such a big level? Well, we have the opportunity to unlock a bunch of new abilities such as Frost Shock, Frostbrand Weapon, Ghost Wolf and Lesser Healing Wave. There's also a new rank Lightning Bolt and potentially Searing Totem if I roll that. Ghost Wolf would make my life so much easier running around with like the 40% movement speed. That would be so good. We also have unlocked potentially another row of talents which could give me 5% crit too, which would be insane. And I have a higher chance of getting something good, as now that I'm level 20 I can reroll my draw once. There is so many great upgrades that await. Without further ado, let's roll. Okay, so the first draw we got 2 bag slots or Lesser Healing Wave. I mean, bags are always nice, but am I that desperate for a bag now? Probably not. Lesser Healing Wave is quite good, especially if I do want to go down the healing route. Or do I want to reroll? I don't think I'm going to take a bag slot yet, because they're not too important. Lesser Healing Wave is nice. I feel like it's not as good. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna risk it. Let's shuffle the deck again a couple of times. And this is going to be our one and only reroll. Okay, interesting. Flame Shock, Flame Tongue, and Bag Slot. Bag Slot we've already covered. Flame Tongue weapon is nice. Let's see in game how much damage does that potentially do. So the rank 2 Flame Tongue weapon would be 7 to 21 additional fire damage. That could be quite nice. Or Flame Shock, which does 47 and then another 48. I think I'm going to go with Flame Shock. I already have a weapon enhancement, so I'd be trading out Rockbiter for the Flame Tongue weapon, so obviously the damage increase would be a lot less, if even there is any. So I think Flame Shock is going to be the choice. Let's lock that in. Beautiful, and we now have Flame Shock added to the list. I went back to Exodar to train my newly unlocked Flame Shock, and there was a new Shaman quest waiting for me to unlock the Water Totem. At this point now, all I had left was the Water quest, the Elite Escort, the Elite Kill quest, and a quest to destroy the Sun Gate. Once these 4 were done, I would finally be done with the zone and be ready for dungeon time. I talked to the Water Elemental for the Totem quest, and he wants me to check a polluted pool. Somebody's been peeing in the pool again, eh? Look, it wasn't me this time for once, right? I swear. If this quest is as long as the Horde quest is, it is going to take a while. The Flame Shock is such a nice upgrade. I love the dot. My strategy to kill mobs now is to pre-pop Lightning Shield, Flame Shock the mob once, and then bash him to death. And the kill speed is pretty good. Maybe I'm just used to the kill speed of punching things to death on my unarmed hardcore paladin. The Punch It In series, go check it out if you haven't, shameless plug. So anything feels pretty fast. I collected the foul essence required and I headed back to Earl the Elemental. The follow-up was to go all the way to fucking Ashenvale. I knew this quest would be a pain in the ass. It always is a pain in the ass. It seems like it's a requirement for the Water Totem quest to be a pain in the ass. I found a friend to do the escort quest with, and apparently I'm a subtlety rogue. To get the credit for a mob kill, you have to do over 50% of the damage. Doing the escort quest before, I didn't have enough damage to do over 50% while the NPC was hitting him, so I didn't get any credit for the kills. This time, because there's 2 of us, we had enough damage to get the credit, so we completed the kill quest on the way up. We then fought a steroid using Draenei. Look at the fucking size of this lady. And on the way down, I destroyed the Sun Controller, so I completed all the quests available in Bloodmyst Isle. Handing in the escort quest gave me a pretty sick staff that was a big damage upgrade on the 2-handed mace. He then declared to all of Bloodmyst that I am the saviour of Azure Mist and Bloodmyst. I am the hero of the Hand of Argus, the champion of the Draenei people. Jesus, I've got more titles than Daenerys in Game of Thrones at this stage. Outside awaiting me was a huge celebration of Draenei kneeling for me, Night Elves dancing for me, and Furbolgs staring at me. Belin the Prophet was outside and he gave me a cool looking tabard and a nice ring. Maybe this is why the app kept trying to give me that ring slot, as it knew this was coming. We are now ready to start our dungeon adventures, but that will have to wait until the next episode. Let's have one last look at the card deck before we finish the episode. So gear wise we have the back slot, chest slot, gloves, legs, main hand and offhand. I think the only gear slot we unlocked this episode was the hands, so we actually kind of didn't get much gear, but we got some other good things. Ability wise, we have Flame Shock, Stone Claw, Earth Shock, Earthbind, Lightning Bolt, Cockbiter, Lightning Shield, and Healing Wave. The Flame Shock was really nice. The Rock Biter and Lightning Shield, they were huge, so they're probably like our 3 biggest unlocks. And I think Flame Shock and Cockbiter were both from this episode, so that was really nice. Stone Claw's actually come in a lot more handy than I thought it would, so that's actually worked out pretty well. We have 5 talent points unlocked, which we've used in the extra mana, which isn't great for now, but the second tier would be really good if we could get that soon. Professions, we've unlocked both the primary professions, which currently is mining and enchanting, but we will swap mining for drill crafting later down the road. And we also unlocked first aid. It was kind of a meh unlock. I remember it was just a really bad draw, so it was kind of the best of worst options. And we also have 1 bag slot unlocked. Just a reminder, let me know what you guys think about the dungeon unlocking the different kind of materials used for professions on the auction house. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so that I know whether it's worth continuing the series. If you have any suggestions or ideas for the series, please leave them down below, as I'm excited to see what we can come up with together. If you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing? I have a goal where I would love to reach 10k subscribers by the end of the year. Yeah, crazy, right? And every sub brings me closer to that goal. If you want to go that extra bit further to support me, you can find my Patreon in the description, or become a member to my channel. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.